are just so short of confidence, given what's happened to them in the league this season. But they will believe. They will believe that there's a possibility tonight. They'll see this as potentially a bit of a free hit, and what an incredible accomplishment it could be for Leganés if they could stay up from this kind of position. So Leganés against Barcelona in La Liga tonight, and well, Barcelona, I mean, look at the quality they've got on this side. I mean, it's not just the starting 11, isn't it? You know, they've got Wojciech Szczesny in goal, and then at right back is Koundé, Araujo, Martinez and Balde, the back four. I mentioned Pedri and Eric, who will just sit in the centre of the park. Eric Garcia, Rafinha, Fermin, Lamine Yamal and Lewandowski. I mean, that front four, so exciting. And quality as well on the bench too. I mean, you've got Gavi on the bench, you've got Pau Victor, you've got De Jong. There's a lot of quality in this Barcelona side, but for Leganés, I mean, who knows? They did manage to beat Barcelona in the reverse fixture, Leganés, so they will be certainly holding on to that as a potential moment that they can latch onto and suggest that possibly they can believe that this is possible, that it is possible that they go on and do the job in this one tonight. That is the aim of the game for them, but it will be very difficult indeed. Look at Barcelona's upcoming fixtures, actually, and well, there's some really difficult ones, clearly. I mean, you look at the fact that I have that second leg against Dortmund. I mean, the fact they battered Dortmund 4-0 just mean they can kind of cruise through that, you would have thought. Although they will, of course, have memories of what happened against Liverpool all those years ago in the Champions League back in 2019. And then I think you look at the fact they got the Copa del Rey final at the end of April, home against Real Madrid, and that's really exciting for them. So, I mean, it's just going to be a very, very exciting 6 weeks coming up now for Barcelona, seeking a 28th league crown. It is, we are up and underway. And it is Lewandowski that tries to feed it through straight away. And all of a sudden, opportunity for Lamine Yamal on the right-hand side. And, well, Barcelona bite it back into the challenges and very nearly winning back as well. But inside the opening 60 seconds of the game, Barcelona just tried to assert a bit of dominance on the game. And Leganés 0, Barcelona 0 is a score. Barcelona in possession, and Fermin Lopez has it. Lamine Yamal also looking to pop it around, and Barcelona in possession once again. And now an opportunity inside the penalty area. Can it be kept in play? Yes, it can. It's just poked behind for a corner kick for Barcelona, and so an opportunity. And so it is an opportunity for Barcelona, and they've taken the corner kick quickly and they've floated the ball into the penalty area. And that was half an opportunity there. And Barcelona and Hansi Flick's men certainly looking to establish a bit of dominance in the game very early on in this one. It is Leganés 0, Barcelona 0 as it stands. But Barcelona with the ball on the left-hand side, and Rafinha trying to make things happen. And Rafinha's ball into the penalty area is cut out. And Barcelona will come again on the left-hand side. Gathered now by Fermin Lopez, and Fermin Lopez goes to his right-hand side and finds Koundé, and Koundé inside towards Fermin Lopez once more. It's a neat little turn from Fermin Lopez, gathered by Robert Lewandowski through the legs of one. Robert Lewandowski has the ball on the right-hand side of the penalty area. Lewandowski goes back inside towards Lamine Yamal. Lamine Yamal in now to the feet of Eric Garcia, and Pedri with the touch, and here they come. Once again, Barcelona. Is that going to be a free kick? Referee says indeed it's not. It's going to be play on, and Barcelona are in possession 35 yards from goal. And it's going to be now Lamine Yamal. Lamine Yamal, we know what he can do. Goes on the outside, Lamine Yamal. The teenager hangs up the cross into the penalty area towards the back post. Is put behind by a corner kick for Barcelona. And there's going to be plenty of that tonight, I think, because we know that Lamine Yamal, when he gets on the ball, I mean, in this kind of form as well, I mean, all he wants to do is just run at his man and create opportunities, and it's so exciting to watch when he gets in that kind of position, isn't it? And so it is now a corner kick for Barcelona on the left-hand side, and Barcelona take the corner kick quickly, and now there's an opportunity on that left-hand side to fling the ball into the penalty area. They don't do that as yet, Barcelona. They're trying to work it more centrally. Barcelona in possession just outside the penalty area. Leganés will move the ball away, but Barcelona have won a free kick in a good position. Lamine Yamal went down, and one or two Leganés players not sure that should have been a set piece, but it is indeed awarded, and it's a free kick for Barcelona just outside the penalty area. In a good position too for Barcelona, and an opportunity to take the strike on. So it is going to be Barcelona now with the free kick on the left-hand side, just outside the penalty area on that left-hand side. Rafinha is one of the two players standing over it. Lamine Yamal might also fancy this. Rafinha looks more likely to take it on the left. Might also be Robert Lewandowski who's there. It is Robert Lewandowski who lifts the ball over the crossbar. Wasn't a particularly good free kick, and Hansi Flick looks a little bit disgruntled on the touchline. And so Robert Lewandowski's free kick sailing over the crossbar, and it remains Leganés 0, Barcelona 0. And Leganés have survived the opening 5 minutes here. I can understand why too, and I think when you look at just what this Leganés side are capable of, I mean, make no mistake about it, a draw tonight for Leganés would be an absolutely fabulous result. It really would, especially when you look at the recent form of these two sides, and when you look at the form, when you look at the results that they've had in recent weeks, as Leganés come forwards now inside the penalty area. Can't quite find a way through, but they have won a corner kick. I mean, coming into this clash, I mean, Leganés coming off the back of a 1-1 draw against Osasuna, but prior to that, they lost 3-2 away at Real Madrid. They lost 3-2 at home to Betis. They lost 2-1 away at Celta Vigo. So there have been problems, no question about that. Real problems for Leganés in recent weeks. But they do now have a free kick and a set-piece corner kick, I should say, that will be taken by Oscar Rodriguez, and it's now floated into the penalty area. Barcelona more than comfortably cleared that. Oscar Rodriguez and Dani Rab, I mean, you do feel as though those are the two players that can make things happen, and so it is now an opportunity for Barcelona on that right-hand side. Lamine Yamal was skipping away, and Lamine Yamal was just asking the question and saying, should that have been a set piece in my favour? And indeed, Barcelona do get the free kick, and in fact he's booked the referee. He's booked he's booked Adria Alti, and I tell you what, that is a bad booking to get after 6 minutes, because that's a long rest of the game on a yellow card, isn't it? Leganés 0, Barcelona 0 is the score. Approaching 7 minutes played in the south of Madrid. Forward towards the run of Fermin Lopez. Doesn't quite come off for him. Interesting to see the position of Fermin Lopez today. And Hansi Flick just pacing up and down the touchline. The German, who's very mild-mannered and always very calm in his press conferences, Hansi Flick. And so it is now an opportunity for Leganés to come forwards on the left-hand side. They go all the way back instead to the goalkeeper, and launch forward towards the run of Oscar Rodriguez on the left-hand side. Now they have it once again with Rossier. Rossier's a very talented right back, Leganés. They'll do very well to keep the Frenchman, I think, for the start of next season. Rossier with the ball into the penalty area. Might get a second bite at the cherry here on the right-hand side. And so it is now an opportunity for Leganés on the left-hand side. Eight minutes on the clock. Leganés 0, Barcelona 0 is the score. In contrast, when talked about the poor results that Leganés have had recently, if you look at the results that Barcelona have had recently, I mean, they've just been in astonishing form, haven't they? Beat Borussia Dortmund 4-0. Did have a 1-1 draw against Real Betis, but Real Betis really one of the best sides in the league, so understandable. That Copa del Rey victory against Atletico Madrid was a big one. Prior to that, they thrashed Girona, thrashed Osasuna, and beat Atletico Madrid 4-2 in La Liga, 3-1. They won against Benfica in the Champions League prior to that in March. So, I mean, certainly, there's just so much ability in this Barcelona squad and side, and he's got a very set way of playing, does Hansi Flick, as we know from the past, and there's been a lot of talk about Hansi Flick's future as well at the football club. It's going to be interesting to see how that one plays out in the next couple of months, but as for the here and now, I mean, it's very, very clear they're after a treble, and you wouldn't back against them, would you? You wouldn't back against them because, I mean, in terms of La Liga, this Real Madrid side just haven't been consistent enough all season. So Barcelona, I mean, it's not just a 4-point gap. It's the feeling that Real Madrid aren't going to be able to win 4 or 5 on the spin to really put pressure on them. And you know, even if Barcelona was to drop points today and maybe draw the game and go to 5 points clear, I think that you would then look at the fact that Real Madrid would have to go to Alaves and win, and even if they did in 2 points, I mean, you still kind of fancy Barcelona given their form. So it is Leganés 0, Barcelona 0 in the south of Madrid tonight. Early spring evening in the Spanish capital, and could be a chance now for Leganés, but starting position from Wojciech Szczesny is very good indeed. And so Barcelona now will try to come out, and they have it in the feed of Robert Lewandowski, and Robert Lewandowski was just asking the question, trying to find a way to pick out the overlapping run, but didn't quite come off for Barcelona. And one other interesting aspect to this La Liga campaign, of course, is that Barcelona are at home against Real Madrid on the 10th of May. Now, if Real Madrid could just get within 5 or 6 points, or stay, I should say, really, within 5 or 6 points of Barcelona, and if they can find a way to win away at Barcelona, which is, of course, easier said than done, you know, Barcelona's last 3 fixtures aren't easy. They're away at Espanyol in the derby, home against Villarreal. You'd obviously expect them to win that, but then they're away at Athletic Club on the final day at San Mamés in Bilbao, and that would be a really difficult proposition if they had to win that to win the league. So I think from Real Madrid's perspective, they just need to stay as close as possible, don't they, to this Barcelona side. So Leganés 0, Barcelona 0 is the score. And very, very difficult, I think, in terms of Leganés tonight, what they can manage to do out there. But the cutback is a good one. It's a really good save from Wojciech Szczesny. And the first chance of the game is a Leganés chance. And my goodness, that is a big, big moment in the game, because I'm not quite sure how many chances as good as that Leganés are going to get. And Dani Rabah will feel as though he's got to score. I mean, did so well down that left-hand side. Well, in fact, it was Dani Rabah's run down the left-hand side, and what an opportunity it is inside the penalty area. And my goodness, it was incredibly, it was Adria Alti up there, and he just couldn't quite find the final moment. Now Lamine Yamal on the right-hand side for Barcelona. Lamine Yamal skipping through past 1 or 2. I think for Leg, it's going to be a big sense of frustration, I think, sense of frustration in the sense that they've got to be taking those kind of opportunities when they are presented with those kind of chance. Leganés have only scored 29 goals all season. I mean, a really, really poor statistic. When you look at it in terms of La Liga, look at it compared to the other sides in La Liga. When you've only scored 29 goals, I mean, they have kept 8 clean sheets though. So it's been their defensive prowess really that has kept them in with a chance of managing to stay in the top tier of Spanish football. So Javi Hernandez is going to take the throw in. The Leganés side that have only won 6 games all season in La Liga. And that is obviously a source of concern, but right now it's just about the final few games of the season, isn't it? In the next 6 weeks, can they somehow pick up enough wins to get the job done, to find a way? And you look at the upcoming games for Leganés as well. Away at Mallorca, home against Girona, away at Sevilla, home against Espanyol, away at Villarreal, away at Las Palmas, home against Real Valladolid. And those fixtures would suggest that there's a pretty decent opportunity. And here's a chance now for Aldimira to feed the ball into the penalty area. Diamande was lurking, but didn't quite come off in the end. And Leganés are certainly playing better football the last 5 minutes or so. And so it is Leganés with the ball down the left-hand side. Diamande wrestled for the ball right by the corner flag. And Lamine Yamal is gesticulating to one or two in front of him. Javi Hernandez is going to take the throw in on the left-hand side. Javi Hernandez is looking for teammates around him, and the ball just scuttles out of play for a goal kick for Barcelona. It is a goal kick which Szczesny will take immediately. But that chance though, Dani Rabah on the left-hand side cut it back well. And, well, Adri Alti, what an opportunity that was. What an opportunity. And Wojciech Szczesny's actually got a very good record in goal for Barcelona. It is Barcelona in possession inside the centre circle. Gathered now by Pedri, and Pedri to Eric Garcia and into Fermin Lopez, and now Lamine Yamal. Lamine Yamal on the right-hand side encourages Koundé forwards. Collected now by Eric Garcia, who goes to his left-hand side and finds Rafinha. And it is Eric Garcia once again, and gathered now by Lamine Yamal on the right-hand side. Lamine Yamal inside for Fermin Lopez, and everyone behind the ball now for Leganés, and Barcelona are in possession on the left-hand side. And there's an opportunity now, you feel, for Barcelona just inside the centre circle to make things happen now and to create an opportunity. It is Koundé who has the ball on the right-hand side, feeds it to Lamine Yamal. Lamine Yamal skips past one. Lamine Yamal is in possession of the ball on that right-hand side for Barcelona, but Leganés win it back, and they've very cheaply given it straight back to Barcelona. And so it is Barcelona in possession. Now Barcelona have the ball at the back now through Araujo. Pedri picks the ball off his feet, and here come Barcelona once more. And Barcelona are popping the ball around with a degree of purpose and intensity, but as yet haven't found the moments that matters really. And the game remains 0-0. And the one big chance of the game, in actual fact, came for Leganés and Adri Alti. But it is Barcelona now who are in possession. And Barcelona have the ball now through Pedri, and Pedri back to Koundé. All of this being played on the right-hand side. Now it's Lamine Yamal, skips past one. Lamine Yamal into Fermin. Fermin trying to glide it through, looking for Koundé. But the Frenchman couldn't quite get on the end of it, and Dimitrovic does gather. And so Dimitrovic, the Leganés goalkeeper, now Szczesny coming out from his goal. Danny Rabba, the flag is up against Danny Rabba, and he is offside. And so it's going to be a free kick for Barcelona. Barcelona 19 minutes in, haven't created anything in the game as yet. Obviously we know that can turn in the blink of an eye. Season. But there's no question that Barcelona do have a really good opportunity when they're in these kind of positions to find a way, and it is Barcelona who are in possession once again. So Barcelona have been pretty static in the opening 20 minutes of this game, but can they find a way to change things? And so it is the Barcelona side that know that well, they would have heard the quotes from Carlo Ancelotti earlier on today about the La Liga title race, and the fact that there's no chance that Ancelotti's going to give up the La Liga title race. He still believes that Real Madrid are right in it, and so he should as well, because 4 points the gap. And if Barcelona were to drop points today and then Real Madrid were to win tomorrow, so an opportunity now for Leganés to come forwards and out from the back, and Barcelona trying to regather possession, can't quite do so, and here come Leganés now, and Vučić Szczesny is just going to be able to gather the ball inside his penalty area. And so it is Leganés 0, Barcelona 0 the score. And here's Fermin on the left-hand side for Barcelona. He's going to pick out Lamine Yamal. Immaculate first control. And Lamine Yamal sees the ball dribble out to the right-hand side. Lamine Yamal keeps it in, though. Lamine Yamal looking for space to shoot. Still Lamine Yamal. Little back heel to Koundé. And Koundé now. Deflection! And turned behind by Dimitrovic in the Leganés goal. And he did really well, actually. He had to react well, because Koundé's effort inside the penalty area on the right-hand side, and he just moved to his left-hand side, Dimitrovic, to palm it away. And that did prove to be ultimately sufficient. And so it is now a corner kick, which Rafinha will take and swing in. Dimitrovic got a touch on it, and Leganés now will try to bring the ball away down that right-hand side. But just can't do anything with it. 22 minutes on the clock. Leganés 0, Barcelona 0 is the score. And it is now Barcelona who are pretty dominant in terms of possession the last 5 or 10 minutes. And Barcelona have the ball at their feet, 30 yards from goal. And it's going to be an attempt on the right-hand side from Koundé. And Koundé on the halfway line. It's just going to go back inside. And well, we know Barcelona are 23 games unbeaten across all competitions. And that's a very impressive statistic, isn't it? And they've been peaking really this season at just the right time. for their run towards the treble, really. That is the aim of the game. Certainly appears to be so. Gathered now on the left-hand side by Rafinha. We know all about Rafinha's quality. Rafinha 23 minutes on the clock. Rafinha glides inside. Finds Pedri. Just looking for Rafinha again. Doesn't quite come off, though. And, well, you can see what Barcelona are trying to do. It's been very interesting, actually, watching the development of this Barcelona side this season. And there's absolutely no question that Barcelona are going to be in the market this summer. Some of their financial concerns have eased slightly. And I think you do look at Robert Lewandowski, and I mean, he's been an unbelievable player over the years, hasn't he, Robert Lewandowski? But he does turn 37 in August. And I think, you know, asking Robert Lewandowski to rack up the numbers that he once did is probably unrealistic at this point. And so, you know, had an unbelievable career, Robert Lewandowski. Yeah, look at the fact that he's just bagged goals wherever he's gone, really. I mean, of course, he started his career in Poland and did so well with Lech Poznan, was signed by Dortmund, prolific for them. Had some astonishing years for Bayern Munich, and probably the culmination of that was the 1920 season as Leganés are inside the penalty area, and there's going to be an opportunity now for Dani Rabah, but the ball is just poked out of play for a corner kick, and Leganés have had a pretty decent 24 minutes here, and it will have an opportunity now. Leganés from the corner kick to create something, and it's going to be a corner kick then for Leganés. On the right hand side, 24 minutes on the clock. Leganés 0, Barcelona 0's the score. Corner kick in from Leganés. It was into a cluster of bodies, but Lamine Yamal now will bring the ball away for Barcelona, and Lamine Yamal just wedges the ball forward, and I think he was looking for Rafinha, couldn't quite find him. And Leganés will smash it forwards now towards the edge of the penalty area. Koundé was there. Diomande sees the ball just run out of play for a throw-in. And here is Cisse now for Leganés. I was just talking about Robert Lewandowski, and I mean, he had those incredible seasons where he scored 55 goals 1920, 48 2021 season, and 50 goals in his final Bundesliga season before he's bought by Barcelona. I mean, even this season, yes, you could say that he's just about to turn 37 in a few months, but I mean, you look at the fact he scored 40 goals across all competitions, 25 in La Liga. I mean, it's more than he got last season with 19 goals, so you know, it's incredible, really. But there is certainly the sense in and around Barcelona Football Club that they do want to strengthen from a position of strength in that sense. And, you know, there have been one or two rumours linking them to the likes of Alexander Isak and others. I mean, I don't think Barcelona have the money to take on Isak, but just goes to show their intent, Barcelona, of what they want to do, what they're trying to do, and what they've got the capacity to do as well. And so it is now an opportunity for Barcelona to whip the ball into the penalty area. It was actually fizzed towards Robert Lewandowski at the near post, but it didn't quite come off, and Rossier was there to deal with the danger. So Leganés will defend it once again, and the ball is going to be swung into the penalty area towards Rafinha, who struck it very cleanly, but ultimately off target from the Brazilian. And, well, Rafinha was just peeled away to the right-hand side of the penalty area. It was a nice idea. I mean, if it goes in, it looks absolutely spectacular, but it was wayward in the end from Rafinha. And Rafinha's effort just skimming over the crossbar in the end. And Leganés trying to come forwards on the left-hand side. Can't quite do so, and Barcelona back in possession. It's been a bit of a bitty 27 minutes of football, hasn't it? It's quite worked out the way I think they might have thought. Barcelona haven't been able really to carve open this Leganés side. in the way they might have wanted to. But it is Leganés 0, Barcelona 0, with 28 minutes on the clock. An opportunity now on the right-hand side for Lamine Yamal, who goes down in a heap, does Lamine Yamal. That is going to be a foul from Hernandez. And I don't think the referee's going to dip into the top pocket there. It's just a little nibble on the ankle of Lamine Yamal. And so here's now an opportunity for Barcelona on that right-hand side. And it remains Leganés 0, Barcelona 0. But there's a free kick for Barcelona on the right-hand side. And it is going to be swung into the free kick's going to be taken now. Fermin just hangs up the set piece towards the back post. Not properly cleared. In fact, there was a nudge inside the penalty area. So it will be a free kick for Leganés, and they'll take what's happening in this game all day long, won't they? 29 minutes on the clock. I mean, they would have seen a draw in this game is absolutely fabulous. So 29 minutes on the clock, 0-0, barely threatened Dimitrovic's goal. They will be more than content with how this has played out, really. Opportunity now for Lewandowski to try to chase after the loose ball. He attempted to do so, but in the end, Leganés managed to clear. It hasn't been a classic La Liga game as yet. The game just hasn't quite bubbled to life in the contest, but that may change because Barcelona are marauding forward down the left-hand side now. Rafinha was trying to pick up the pieces. Robert Lewandowski will. The pole has dropped really deep in this one, and now it is gathered by Koundé. And Koundé to Eric Garcia. Garcia now to Lamine Yamal. Lamine Yamal on the right-hand side, and the teenager keeps it moving. Lamine Yamal, and Barcelona coming forwards once more. It is Lamine Yamal, 35 yards from goal. Lamine Yamal just feeds it in field towards Pedri, and Pedri keeps it moving to his left-hand side. A chance now for Lamine Yamal. Side netting. It was a decent chance that for Lamine Yamal. He kind of wandered across the pitch. He started the move, did Lamine Yamal, and he picked up the ball from Pedri. And the 17-year-old was found really well inside the penalty. The first touch was a good one, in fairness to Lamine Yamal. I mean, there's two Leganés players closing in on him when he takes the strike on, and he just fizzes the ball into the side netting. What a talent this young boy is. Just gives the thumbs up, Lamine Yamal, for the pass played to him from Inigo Martinez. And still the game remains 0-0. Well, it's been a really bad week for Real Madrid, of course, getting battered in North London. But if Barcelona were to drop points tonight, it would be very, very interesting indeed to consider the Real Madrid position going away to Alaves tomorrow. Because if Real Madrid were to go into that 5 points behind and win and go to within 2 points, it would still be within Real Madrid's hands, because they travel to Barcelona in May in the title race. So from that perspective, there's certainly a lot to consider. It is Leganés 0, Barcelona 0, and Barcelona pouring forwards down the right-hand side again. Lamine Yamal's ball into the feet of Fermin, and Fermin wanted a free kick, and referee says nothing doing. And so it is now Leganés, who have defended very astutely in the game, I think. I mean, there's that one attempt from Lamine Yamal into the side netting. Then also the strike from Koundé, which took a heavy deflection and ultimately was saved by Dimitrovic. I mean, the best chance of the game has fallen for Leganés and Adrialti. So Leganés have the ball now through Diomande, and Diomande tried to find a way through, but Szczesny now is going to pick up the pieces. And Szczesny just feeds it forwards, and I think it's a little bit too much on it, and ultimately into the feet of Dimitrovic. So the game remains 0-0, and it's a game that is so far going in Leganés' favour in terms of who would be most happy with the points. Barcelona struggling to find a way through. Referee says play on, as Barcelona and Leganés are involved in a little tangle, and Leganés supporters aren't happy because there's a man down here for Leganés, but it's not a head injury, so Barcelona have got every right to continue. And Barcelona have the ball on the left-hand side, collected now by Eric Garcia. And now it's collected by Lamine Yamal on the right-hand side. Lamine Yamal inside for Koundé. And Koundé flicks it forwards to Fermin. And the ball is fed in by Rafinha. And it's just going to trickle out of play for a goal kick to Leganés. Well, the Leganés fans aren't happy, neither are the players. But if it's not a head injury, then you absolutely don't need to stop the game. And well, Dani Rabah's the player down in considerable pain down there. And so Leganés 0, Barcelona 0 is the score. And Barcelona are having a word or two with the referee. Lewandowski and Rafinha are having a little chat. 34 minutes on the clock then. Goalless in this La Liga contest tonight. Dani Rabah is a very important player actually for Leganés. Scored 7 La Liga goals this season. And he had that moment where he set up Altimira. And Altimira really should have scored. Certainly will feel as though he should have scored. Other results today, by the way, in La Liga, and what is as ever a very big week for La Liga. On Friday, Valencia beat Sevilla 1-0. So Valencia's relegation concerns are pretty much over now. I mean, they're in great form, aren't they, Valencia? Up now to 12th in the table. And earlier on today, Real Sociedad lost at home to Mallorca. Getafe won Las Palmas 3. It's a really big result for Las Palmas, who are also in the thick of a relegation battle. And the other result was Celta Vigo 0, Espanyol 2. So a big result for Espanyol as well. And in terms of Sunday's fixtures, there's some big ones in there. Osasuna home against Girona. The big one really in terms of the title is Alaves home against Real Madrid. Real Betis at home against Villarreal. Real Betis absolutely flying at the moment. And Athletic Club against Rayo Vallecano. And there's actually a really interesting statistic about Athletic Club, who of course drew 0-0 against Rangers in the first leg of their Europa League quarter-final. And, well, Athletic Club have actually drawn 3 games in a row 0-0. I mean, I don't know how many times that has happened in the history of Athletic Club, but not too many. Answers on a postcard, please. So, Leganés 0, Barcelona 0 is the score, and not many chances, you would have to say, in the game so far. A big chance for Altimira for Leganés. Kind of half chance for Koundé and Lamine Yamal, but nothing really clear-cut for Barcelona. So it is Leganés 0, Barcelona 0 in the game. And a very, very big night indeed, and a very big weekend in the title race. It is Dani Rabah who tries to slide the ball through, and Dani Rabah's ball was just a little bit loose, and, well, Altimira wants a free kick on the edge of the penalty area. Referee says no. Referee was actually very, very well placed and says no, and the Leganés fans and supporters feel as though quite a lot's gone against them in the last few minutes. Well, Leganés wanted a free kick right outside the penalty area, and Altimira goes down, clutching his right ankle. But I think Altamira was kind of on the way down. So Leganés 0, Barcelona 0, and there's a bad sign here for Barcelona because Balde is down on the edge of the penalty area. It was Balde's contact with Altamira. And so it is, well, there's an injury concern here for Barcelona. Not really one you want, is it? So Balde is down, and there might have to be a substitution here for Barcelona. Not what you want, of course. Your left back coming off. But I think Barcelona are going to have to make a substitution here, because Balde looks in quite a lot of discomfort, doesn't he? Balde's just limping off the pitch. I think the substitution is being readied, and Gerard Martin is considering coming off. And I think when you factor in that Barcelona have that 4-0 advantage in the first leg against Dortmund in the quarterfinals of the Champions League, probably not worth taking too many gambles, is it? But here come Leganés on the left-hand side. The effort on goal is deflected wide for a corner kick for Leganés. And Barcelona momentarily just down to 10 with Balde being off. And so it is, well, Gerard Martin is going to come on then before the corner. 5 minutes to play before half-time. Frustration that for Balde, and obviously a concern for the big games coming up for Barcelona. But it's going to be a corner kick now for Leganés, which is hoisted into the penalty area. And Lewandowski manages to clip it away. And it's going to be another corner kick, though, for Leganés, who played well in this first half. And it is going to be now Leganés who have the ball on that left-hand side. And it's gathered by Cisse, and Cisse tries to lay a square, and here come Barcelona on the counter, and Lamine Yamal's the option on the right-hand side, and Lamine Yamal now's got grass to move into. Lamine Yamal on the right-hand side for Barcelona. Lamine Yamal switches the play towards Robert Lewandowski, whose touch was a little bit heavy, and Leganés managed to smash it away. And Tapia, I think, was the player there to alleviate the danger, and Robert Lewandowski just kind of sighs. It was a nice ball by Lamine Yamal. Tapia is down in the aftermath of that. So Robert Lewandowski's touch was just a little bit heavy on the left-hand side. Fairness to him, I think there were one or two Leganés players coming in quickly, so it wasn't completely free, Robert Lewandowski. But a first half of a few chances. I mean, Hansi Flick does have options on the bench, doesn't he? Don't think it would be too long before we see potentially Gavi and Ferran Torres and one or two others maybe. Well, Dani Raba's been in the wars because he's down again now. Dani Raba. And Balde's just continuing to walk off the pitch. Sense of frustration from him. And 3 minutes to play before half-time. So Leganés 0, Barcelona 0. Barcelona have 73% possession in the game so far, but it remains 0-0. And here's a chance for Leganés. And Dani Raba's efforts just skims past the upright, but Dani Raba wasn't quite clean through on goal, but nonetheless he was kind of released after Diamande had a nice turn, lovely weight on the ball. First touch is a decent one from Danny Rabah. And in fairness to him, I mean, he's got players closing down Danny Rabah. Makes really good contact with it, but you'd want him to test the goalkeeper really from that kind of range. And so it is Barcelona who have the ball on the left-hand side. And the ball's into the penalty area towards Fermin Lopez, who heads wide. So Leganés 0, Barcelona 0. It is Barcelona who are in possession inside the centre circle. And it's fizzed down to the left-hand side. And Barcelona do gather. Collected now by Pedri. And Pedri just feeds it infield. And Barcelona in possession again. And Koundé goes to his right-hand side and finds Lamine Yamal. And Lamine Yamal on his left foot. Lamine Yamal for Barcelona. He's 35 yards out, Lamine Yamal. Tries to jink past one and does. Needs a little bit of support. Lamine Yamal goes inside towards Pedri. Pedri to the left-hand side. And Inigo feeds it in, but beyond everyone and too high for Koundé. And Inigo's just raised his arms to say, well, there should have been more people inside the penalty area. And it's going to be 3 more minutes at the end of the opening 45. So 0-0 remains the score. And here is Danny Rabah on the edge of the penalty area. No free kicks, says the referee. He's not a popular man inside this stadium, is he? It's Hernandez with the cutback, and that might be a penalty, and the referee says no. Well, Leganés want a penalty inside the penalty area. Diamande goes down. I've got to say, first glance, it looked as though there was contact. Diamande, in fairness to him, has kind of cut short the protestations. Here come Barcelona on the counter. We played a minute of the 3 allocated at the end of the opening 45. And Gerard Martin does gather. And we're seeing the replay on our monitors here. And I think the referee might have actually got a spot on. Diamande went down pretty easily, looking for the penalty. And so Koundé then inside the area. Koundé's cross in, and Dimitrovic with a very comfortable save. So we played 2 of the allocated 3 minutes in stoppage time, end of the first half. The ball is with Wojciech Szczesny, and I don't think Hansi Flick will be very pleased at all by what he's seen from his side, to be honest with you. Just haven't got going, have they? Haven't produced enough, this Barcelona side, with the quality they've got out there. And it is Szczesny who feeds it out to the left-hand side, and here come Barcelona. Barcelona have it now once again inside the centre circle. Final few seconds of the first half. Leganés 0, Barcelona 0 is the score. And it is Robert Lewandowski on the left-hand side. Robert Lewandowski cuts the ball in field. And it's now gathered by Barcelona and Koundé. And Koundé to Lamine Yamal. And Lamine Yamal cuts in field and wedges the ball, looking for Martin, and Barcelona can't quite get the ball on the deck, and Leganés on the counter. We played 3 of the allocated 3 minutes, and Leganés steaming forwards. It could be a chance now for Leganés just before half-time. Cross the face of goal. Great chance. The angle's tight. Leganés keep it in play, and Danny Rapper floats it into the... There have been chances, and the whistle goes for half-time. So Leganés 0, Barcelona 0. Leganés more than made a game of it in this first half. And the first half finishing in exciting fashion, but no goals in the south of Madrid. 0-0 the score. Frankie de Jong is on for Barcelona at the start of this second half. 0-0, of course, after the opening 45 minutes of football. Leganés giving a very, very good account of themselves indeed. And don't forget, I mean, this is an absolutely crucial game in the La Liga title race, because if Barcelona were to drop points today, it would really give Real Madrid plenty of impetus tomorrow away against Alaves. So Leganés 0, Barcelona 0, the score after the opening 45. So we are up and underway at the start of the second half. A really big encounter, isn't it, in terms of both ends of the table, really, because I think when you look at it, and you look at the fact that Barcelona, as it stands, are going 5 points clear at the top of the table with this result as it is. But that would give plenty of motivation for Real Madrid. And for Leganés, I mean, they will look at the relegation battle and they would see this as a really good result indeed. And if they could pick up a point here, Leganés, if you look at the live La Liga table, well, it would mean that Leganés would be on 29 points and they'd just be a point away from safety, with Las Palmas ahead of them on 29 and Alaves on 30 just ahead of them. And possibly you feel as though Girona, Osasuna, Espanyol have got a bit too much now, but certainly you feel as though with Real Valladolid down, it's going to be one of those 2-3 sides, Alaves, Las Palmas and Leganés, that manage to stay up. So into the second half of this contest, and it was a very intriguing opening 45 minutes, because Leganés did have a couple of opportunities of their own. Altimira probably with an opportunity that he'll feel as though he should have scored, but he didn't manage to do so. A couple of half chances for Barcelona in the game, and it is Leganés who are in possession inside the centre circle, but Barcelona will mop up at the back and it will go back to Wojciech Szczesny, and Szczesny feeds it to his left hand side, and Barcelona now coming out from the back, and Barcelona have the ball inside the centre circle, and Leganés moving away with it on that right-hand side, and it's neat and tidy though from Barcelona, and here's Rafinha. Rafinha on the left-hand side for Barcelona. Rafinha with the ball across the face of goal. It's an own goal. It's in the back of the net, and Barcelona lead just 2 minutes into the second half. The ball in from Rafinha was absolutely fabulous, and Jorge Sainz on the stretch. In fairness to Jorge Sainz, I mean, he has to stretch because Lewandowski otherwise has got to tap him. And on the stretch, the Leganés man has turned the ball into the back of his own net, and it's Leganés 0, Barcelona 1. Well, Rafinha down the left-hand side did so well, and he fed the ball into the penalty area, and it's one of those own goals where, yes, Jorge Sainz is going to go down as the man who scored it, but really, if he doesn't get a touch on it, Robert Lewandowski is going to pop the ball home for 1-0. Barcelona created very little in the first half, but they lead now in the south of Madrid away at Leganés, and it came courtesy, really, of Rafinha on the left-hand side. He just had so much space, and he could see the run of Robert Lewandowski, fed it into his path, and 7 yards out, Jorge Sainz was stretching to stop Lewandowski get a touch, and Barcelona lead by 1-0. It's a big goal in the title race, isn't it? And Hansi Flick certainly enjoyed it. He punches the air once with his right hand and twice with both hands. And one or two Real Madrid fans watching this would have been very disappointed indeed with that. Hansi Flick absolutely delighted, and Barcelona now playing with a little bit more freedom. And they have the ball on the right-hand side towards Rafinha, but Dimitrovic does gather. And so it is an opportunity now for Barcelona down that right hand side, but the ball just triggers out of play for a goal kick for Leganés. And well, Leganés will be really disappointed, because when you play that well, I think, when you play that well in the first half, and there was so much intensity to what they did and restricted Barcelona to very few chances indeed, it was certainly going to go down as a really frustrating way to start the second half for them. And it was quite preventable as well, really, in the manner in which they gave the ball away, and then Rafinha was just allowed to come forwards. And it is now Barcelona who are in possession. It is Barcelona who are dominating, really, in terms of how they're controlling the play, how they're controlling the ball on that right-hand side. Ball played into the penalty area, and Koundé was there. Leganés scrape it away, and I wonder if they're going to live to regret and rue those missed chances that they had in the game. So as it stands, Barcelona are going 7 points clear at the top of the table, and you would say then, with 6 games, or 7 games to play, I should say, for Barcelona after this, I mean, they will know that if Real Madrid drop points tomorrow, maybe Real Madrid draw, and it's at 6 points with 7 to play, it's becoming very difficult indeed. So it remains Leganés 0, Barcelona 1. And it is Barcelona who have it, and Lewandowski just floated the ball forwards, and Dimitrovic does gather. And Dimitrovic feeds it out instantaneously, and Cisse has a touch of the ball. And so it is gathered by Rossier on the right-hand side for Leganés. And Leganés trying to make things happen, but they've been pretty toothless in the opening 7 minutes, you'd have to say. Have Leganés in the second half. Hasn't really worked out for them, has it? But the game has just got 1 goal in it, so there's still plenty of time for Leganés, still plenty of encouragement for them, you'd say, in the game. De Jong has lots of space to work with 30 yards out. It's going to be a free kick now for Leganés, and a free kick in a good position too. It was Danny Rabah just took the ball away from his man. Now Leganés have a set-piece situation, but they're giving the ball straight back to Barcelona. I mean, pretty careless, really. And so Barcelona have the ball just outside the confines of their own penalty area. Leganés win it back, but it's going to be a free kick for Barcelona on that left-hand side. And Barcelona very confident indeed of just moving the ball around. So Barcelona in possession, and they have the ball on the right hand side with Lamine Yamal. And Hansi Flick will be so keen to get over the line here, to go into the second leg of that Champions League tie against Dortmund, to get that job done, and then to look towards, I think, the Copa del Rey and the remaining games in the La Liga season as well. Well, Barcelona want a free kick. They're not going to get it, I don't think, just outside the Leganés penalty area. And so it is Leganés 0, Barcelona 1. It was an own goal from Jorge Sainz. And Rafinha tries to keep the ball alive and does, but Rafinha's ball into the penalty area on the left-hand side, gathered by Dimitrovic. And Dimitrovic is going to hammer it out, looking for the run of Diamande. It's asking an awful lot, though, I think. And, well, Barcelona controlling the second half. Absolutely in control of proceedings, in control of the game. And enjoying themselves out there, you feel. Mentioned the Barcelona fixtures coming up, and I think one thing that's interesting about the Leganés fixtures is that when you look at the fact they are away at Mallorca next, which obviously is a difficult game, but after that they're home against Girona, who aren't having a great season, away at Sevilla, also not having their greatest season, are they? Home against Espanyol, who are right down there, away at Villarreal, away at Las Palmas, home against Real Valladolid. And I think that's really interesting, the last two games for Leganés in the course of the season, because if they can somehow stay within touch and distance, then they will be in a very good position indeed, because of the nature of those two fixtures. So 56 minutes on the clock, Leganés 0, Barcelona 1 is the score. And Barcelona now do have the ball inside their own half. Inigo Martinez on the left-hand side now to Rafinha. And Rafinha for Barcelona goes infield. And Frankie de Jong, who came on as a half-time substitute. Frankie de Jong to Lamine Yamal. Lamine Yamal to Fermin. And Barcelona want that second goal now, don't they? Koundé to Rafinha just outside the area. Rafinha's got the option left-hand side to the penalty area. Fermin trying to find a way through. It does, and Fermin puts it past the post. Well, there might have been a free kick in there anyway for Leganés. Well, it would have been an absolutely superb goal. It really would have been, because it did so well just to clip the ball, Fermin, inside the area. And Rafinha wanted a free kick earlier on, actually, but Fermin nearly scored an absolutely wonderful goal for me. I mean, he took it past a couple of players. Might have been a high boot in there. That's the only question, maybe, Leganés were appealing for. But having got in that position, Fermin can't believe he hasn't scored. So Juan Cruz has come on now for Leganés, the 24-year-old former Betis man. And Leganés now have an opportunity with Altimira. And now Rossier. Rossier's ball into the penalty area is cut out, but I wonder if that is the outlet for Leganés on that right-hand side. And, well, Leganés, I mean, they did have that big opportunity, didn't they, for Altimira in the first half. They'll look back on that, I think, and wonder if that goes in the back of the net, what might have been, what might have happened. Leganés then are in possession on the right-hand side. And it is going to be Leganés on that right-hand side to move the ball away. It's Danny Rabah on the left-hand side for Leganés. Danny Rabah looking for a bit of support, just gives the ball away in the end. And Barcelona should come forwards with the ball and do. And Fermin forwards to Lamine Yamal. And getting crowded out, and it is going to be a free kick for Leganés. Game's just entered a little bit of a scrappy period, really. The right leg came out, and it's one of those games, I think, in the La Liga title race that Barcelona will just want to get the job done and manage to find a way to extend their lead at the top of the La Liga standings to 7 points. And if they can do that, then Real Madrid will have a mountain to climb. And they'll know, really, Real Madrid, I think they've got to go to Alaves and win. And that'll be, I mean, took a big few days for Real Madrid this season. They'll have to go to Alaves and win. And they would have to go. Altimira has the ball now to Rossier. Rossier wants a handball. Referee says chest. Well, I'll have another look at that one. And it is now Rossier who has the ball again for Leganés. The ball played into the penalty area. It's going to be a corner, but Leganés are adamant there should be a penalty here. And it was Rossier's ball into the penalty area. And let's have a look. Well, no, I mean, the arm's tight to the body. It's not a handball. Rossier smashes it into Inigo Martinez. You can't be giving that for handball. In comes the set piece, and Barcelona will clear. I think there's one or two other appeals for a penalty, and Barcelona now are going to clear, and they've got two options forward, and one of which is Rafinha. It's actually really well cut out, and Leganés will have the ball back with Dimitrovic, who smashes it up towards halfway, and the game feels a little bit more open than it did 5 minutes ago. You'd say that. Now, there was an appeal for a penalty inside the box for Leganés that has since been waved away. And so Rafinha's ball into the penalty area was a good one, and Robert Lewandowski was very nearly there. And, well, that would have been something special, wouldn't it? I mean, Rafinha on the left-hand side just zipped the ball into the penalty. The movement from Robert Lewandowski is so good, and he heads it on. And it was just past the post in the end. But just couldn't quite find the moment, really. And here come Leganés at the other end, but safely through to Wojciech Szczesny in goal. So Wojciech Szczesny rolls the ball out, and Barcelona will come away with the ball. And they have the ball now on the left-hand side, and it's gathered by Rafinha. Rafinha gather on halfway, and Barcelona come. Barcelona through Rafinha, and then Pedri's involved, and the ball slipped through towards Rafinha once more in the penalty area, but Dimitrovic does gather. And Dimitrovic is going to hurl the ball out to the right-hand side. And here come Leganés, but it's a little bit sloppy, isn't it? It's a little bit loose once again. And so it is going to be Barcelona to bring the ball forward again. .64 minutes on the clock. Leganés 0, Barcelona 1. An own goal scored by Jorge Sainz is the difference between the two teams. That goal was scored on 48 minutes, just a couple of minutes into the second half. In truth, Barcelona haven't created too much. I mean, Fermin nearly scored an absolutely glorious solo goal. But apart from that, haven't been too many opportunities. Leganés themselves have had a couple of half chances, and they come forwards now on the left-hand side to Leganés. And the ball is held into the penalty area. Barcelona rather comfortably clear it. And it's now gathered by Juan Cruz, the substitute. And the final ball from Leganés has just been poor today. And Barcelona bring the ball away through Fermin on the edge of the penalty area. But Leganés back in possession. The home fans still believe there's something in this game for them. They really do. They still think there's an opportunity here to conjure something from the game. If they can or not, we will await to find out. Leganés have 25 minutes to try to make something happen out there. And Ferran Torres and Gabi are going to come on for Barcelona now. Neu is going to come off. And Neu is going to come on for Oscar for Leganés. Lewandowski's coming off now for Ferran Torres. He's looking for his 100th goal for the club today. Lewandowski. It's not going to happen today. Out is Fermin and on is Gavi. All about his quality. So Leganés 0, Barcelona 1 remains the score. And for Barcelona, in terms of the games they've got coming up, and I mean, it's such a busy 6 weeks, isn't it? I think when you look at the league games, but also for Barcelona, I mean, that Copa del Rey final end of April against Real Madrid, especially if Real Madrid are out the Champions League and possibly out the La Liga title race by then, puts an awful lot of pressure on Carlo Ancelotti, that, doesn't it? Here come Leganés, though. Still a way to go in this La Liga title race, of course. And there's an opportunity now for Leganés, and they've won themselves a corner on the right-hand side. So, it is a corner kick for Leganés, and Barcelona have still got work to do out there. Barcelona in possession on the left-hand side. And ball played into the penalty area, looking for Ferran Torres. Gerard Martin tried to pick him out, couldn't quite do so. And it is Barcelona, who have it once again with Pedri. And so Barcelona move the ball now to their right-hand side. And Lamine Yamal wanted it back. I think Lamine Yamal's going to get it back inside the area. It is Lamine Yamal for Barcelona. Dimitrovic with a really good save. Beautifully done by Lamine Yamal. With the little 1-2. Game remains 1-0 Barcelona. I do feel as though Leganés are not out of this just yet. Neat turn by Dani Rabah. All of his options are to the right-hand side. It is Altimira with the ball in. Is it going to be another corner kick? No, it's going to come back to Altimira. Altimira now to Rossier. Rossier twisting and turning and feeding Altimira once more. Altimira's cross. It is a really good one. There's the equalising goal from Dani Rabah. But was the flag up? Was the flag up? It has gone up and it won't count. Well, momentarily, Dani Rabah thought he was offside. And he was right because the flag went up. And, well, he looked to have too much space, didn't he, Dani Rabah, when you first look at it. And Altimira's ball in. And Dani Rabah, I mean, he's 5 yards offside. So, I don't think he could really have any complaints there whatsoever. Dani Rabah's 5 yards offside. So, offside, 20 minutes left to play. And it is Leganés 0, Barcelona 1. And no one on the Leganés bench is particularly happy right now because they all feel like they haven't necessarily been second best. Just a couple of moments of quality from Barcelona. I mean, that one from Fermin would have been a wonderful individual goal, didn't take it. Of course, the own goal from Jorge Sainz separating the two teams so far. So it is Barcelona in possession, 30 yards from goal. Poke forward now towards the edge of the penalty area, but the flag is up anyway against Rafinha. And Hansi Flick in blue jeans and black tracksuit top. He's barking instructions on the touchline. And Lamine, a moment or so ago, had an opportunity, if you can call it that, from an impossibly tight angle in which he extracted a save from Dimitrovic. And it is now gathered by Leganés down the left-hand side, but it's pretty sloppy in terms of just how Leganés are playing in the final third. And I think that'll be a real source of concern when you look at the lack of movement in the final third. It's going to be a real cause for concern for Leganés because they're still in this game. I mean, it's only 1-0. Barcelona absolutely far from their very best out there today, you would have to say. Barcelona in possession, 72 minutes on the clock. Barcelona coming forwards towards the halfway line. Do have the option of Rafinha through the middle. The final pass didn't quite come off, and it is going to be gathered now by Leganés once more. Leganés have the ball with Rossier on the right-hand side. Rossier does gather just outside the confines of his own penalty area. Goes back inside towards Dimitrovic, who's actually had a pretty good game, Dimitrovic, in the Leganés goal. And he, in turn, wedges the ball out to the right-hand side, and Barcelona pick up the pieces, and it is gathered now by Barcelona right on the halfway line. Referee says play on because there's one or two little niggly challenges in there. Barcelona do regather possession, and De Jong gathers, and De Jong feeds it into the feet of the substitute Ferran Torres. And it is Barcelona in possession now. Do have the option of Gerard Martin on the left-hand side. Try to go through the middle looking for Ferran Torres. Didn't quite come off, and Dimitrovic once more will gather for Leganés. And it is now going to be Dimitrovic who does collect. Dimitrovic rolls it out to his left-hand side, and Leganés trying to work it out from the back, and Leganés, well, they've got to believe there's a goal in this game for them. The crowd certainly believe, because the crowd have been with them throughout, and they trail Barcelona by a goal to nil, but in their bid to stay in the top tier of Spanish football, Leganés still need points. There's no question about that. And yes, this would have been seen as a bit of a free hit today in many ways, but at the same time, when you look at this Barcelona side, possibly a little bit distracted by the Champions League well, here's an opportunity now for Lamine Yamal inside the penalty area. Brings Koundé back into play. Koundé's crosses are hanging one in towards Rafinha, and Rafinha's headed down, lacked any particular purchase on it. In fairness to Rafinha, it was very difficult to generate that kind of power on it when the ball was just looped into the penalty area by Koundé. And Dimitrovic does have the ball, but the clock is ticking against Leganés now. 16 minutes left to play in the south of Madrid. Leganés 0, Barcelona 1. Jorge signs his own goal, separating the two sides. Here's Dani Rabah outside the, well, it was in fact Wojciech Szczesny just outside the confines of his own penalty area when Dani Rabah was closing in on him, but the former Arsenal goalkeeper just managed to smash the ball into touch, and now Leganés are going to make a double substitution, and it is going to be Munir El Haddadi to come on, and also Diego Garcia. So Diego Garcia is on the field of play, and Altimira is going to be off. Altimira, who had that chance in the first half, really possibly the best chance of the game, you'd say. Cisse also off, best chance of the game, of course, for Leganés, which he failed to take. So the substitutions are incoming as they desperately try to find a way. Borja Jimenez, the Leganés boss, to get his side on the score sheet and to pinch a point against possibly the champions-elect in Barcelona. Now, Leganés have the ball on the left-hand side, and Barcelona are, well, you wouldn't say protecting their lead, but they certainly sat back a little bit when you don't have Robert Lewandowski, because Robert Lewandowski was substituted earlier on for Ferran Torres. When Lewandowski comes off, you don't really have something to hit up there in the same way. And so I think Barcelona have ceded some possession as the ball's played into the penalty area, and that's a wonderful chance for the substitute not taken for Leganés. And when they look back on this game, if they are to go on and lose it, they might look at that moment with 75 minutes on the clock when surely they should have scored the equalising goal. Well, Juan Cruz with the ball into the penalty area. It was a delicious cross on the left-hand side, and it's a glorious chance, that, isn't it? A glorious chance for Diego Garcia to make it one apiece, and he failed to do so. And when you're in that kind of position, you've got to do better. When you're in a relegation battle and the ball is flung in like that, yes, he's thrown his body in the direction of the ball, but at 6 yards out was a big moment there for Leganés. And when you look at the game, they've really missed two big chances in the game. Altimira in the first half, and then that moment just then from Diego Garcia where they failed to take the chance. And so it remains Leganés 0, Barcelona 1. My goodness, that is a big missed opportunity. Barcelona, they'll have the ball with Lamine Yamal. Lamine Yamal inside the penalty area. Lamine Yamal towards the back post. And in the end, the goalkeeper, Dimitrovic, does just gather. And Leganés survive. Having created two big chances in the game, Leganés. I mean, they've got to look at this now, I think, and wonder how they haven't scored today. First one was a good save from Szczesny, but the second, albeit on the stretch, got to find the target. Rossier on the right-hand side for Leganés. We're not done just yet. Still 13 minutes of the 90 left to play. Scooped long by Leganés, and Diego Garcia is going to try and pick up the pieces, but the flag was up anyway, and Wojciech Szczesny will take his time over this one. So Wojciech Szczesny is just actually going to feed the ball to the left-hand side. And Barcelona now, I mean, I mentioned a moment or so ago that they're in this kind of mode now, Barcelona, where they can sense that they are going to go 7 points clear, as long as they can just hold this out. And certainly been difficult for them, clearly, but this would just be a massive, massive result. Lamine Yamal has the ball on the right-hand side. Here is the teenager, Lamine Yamal, just outside the penalty area, looking for Koundé on the right-hand side. Koundé does gather, and Koundé can't quite find a way through, and now Leganés will come away with the ball, will they? And Leganés and Tapia have the ball, and Rossier goes to Dani Rabah. Dani Rabah gives the ball away pretty carelessly, to be honest with you, and Ferran was trying to turn the ball round the corner, couldn't do so. Koundé on the right hand side, and now there might be a free kick for Barcelona, and well, haven't really had too many chances this afternoon. Barcelona, you'd have to say, tonight I should say rather. Just haven't had the moments in the game that they would have liked. I mean, it's understandable, really. You're talking about a game that's sandwiched in between two big Champions League games, but I think just the fact they'd battered Dortmund and they're basically in the semi-finals of the Champions League, bar the biggest collapse in the history of the competition. I think might have expected a little bit more Hansi Flick from his side today, but he'll be delighted if they can get a result in this one tonight. So Eric Garcia is off and Kubasi is on, and Hansi Flick makes a point of just walking 5 yards to his right-hand side and congratulating Eric Garcia for his performance out there today. Here's an opportunity now for Rafinha, and Barcelona are coming forward just outside the confines of the penalty area. Gerard Martin has it. Martin is right foot. Martin seeking support and gets support in the form of De Jong. Barcelona have the ball on the left-hand side of the penalty area. Now they're inside the penalty area and across the face of goal, but behind for a corner kick. And so it is a corner for Barcelona on the left-hand side. And it is a corner kick for Barcelona then on the left-hand side. And they have everyone inside the penalty area. 10 minutes left to play in front of the travelling pocket of Barcelona fans into a very dangerous area. Zip past the post at the end. I think it came off a Leganés boot. Indeed it did, because it's another corner kick for Barcelona. I think Tapia was there, the Peruvian, to maybe get a touch on it. It was pinball inside the area. Well, in fact, it might have been Jorge Sainz who's already scored an own goal tonight, and that would have been number 2. So, Leganés 0, Barcelona 1 remains the score. Rafinha will take the corner kick, floats it into a pretty good area, comes down to Koundé. Koundé goes back inside, and Barcelona will build once more. And De Jong has the ball, and De Jong goes to his right-hand side, and Barcelona building once more. Barcelona have the ball through De Jong, and De Jong feeds it towards Rafinha, and Leganés suddenly have lost a bit of their impetus and need to find a way in the final 9 minutes plus added on time to create something in the game. Szczesny now has the ball at the back for Barcelona. And Barcelona just seeking to kind of see this one out now. But a second goal would absolutely kill it, no question about that. It is Ferran who has the ball and finds Gerard Martin across the face of goal. Leganés, though, with bodies back there to alleviate the danger. Out it goes for a throw-in for Barcelona, and they're playing like champions now, Barcelona. The game management in the second half has been very, very impressive. Just absorbed the pressure and possession that Leganés offered earlier in the second half, and now they are just reprocessing the ball, taking their time, retaining possession, and they lead by goals to 0. They're so nearly there, not just in terms of tonight's game, but in terms of the La Liga title race as well. If they go 7 points clear and Real Madrid drop points tomorrow, I think it's going to become very difficult indeed. When you factor in how consistent Barcelona have been in the season so far, and it's just hard to see this Barcelona side dropping too many points, really. And the squad as well is very impressive from Barcelona. So I think Hansi Flick is very, very well aware that he's just got so much quality available, and Rafinha goes down. He's not going to get a free kick for that, and Leganés will move the ball away, but they should have moved the ball away. They've given it straight back to Barcelona. Rafinha's still down, and, well, De Jong is going to kick the ball out of play. I mean, I don't think there's any need to here. Rafinha's he's rolling around on the ground. I mean, I think he's going to be okay, Rafinha. He's clutching his right ankle. Of course, Barcelona have had the injury issue earlier on. Munir's not happy. Munir's saying that the ball should not have been played out. Rafinha is Rafinha is still on the deck. Munir and Frankie de Jong are having a chat. Well, I've already had one injury today through Alejandro Balde. And Alejandro Balde has been very good this season for Barcelona. Was substituted towards the end of the first half. And Hansi Flick doesn't need any more injuries. I mean, it didn't look to be too much contact, really. We're going to see whether Rafinha is going to be okay to continue here or not. And, well, certainly not what Hansi Flick would have wanted with a second injury here. But as long as this side can pick up all 3 points, he might be willing to take the knock. So, Leganés 0, Barcelona 1 remains the score. And Rafinha is down injured. It was Rafinha's ball into the penalty area. It was cut out by Jorge Sainz that resulted in the opening and only goal of the game. So it is still Leganés 0, Barcelona 1. And Rafinha is off, and I think he is going to be okay. I mean, he's come off the field of play, Rafinha. And Leganés are playing out from the back now through Dimitrovic, and Rafinha's back on the field of play, or certainly wants to come back on the field of play. He's been told by the fourth official he can't, of course, because he went down, so he's got to wait 30 seconds. Dani Rabah with the challenge. And we're into the final 5 minutes here. And Szczesny smashes it long towards the halfway line. Munir and Frankie de Jong continuing their disagreement. Here's Lamine Yamal. Lamine Yamal slides it through, but Lamine Yamal's ball initially didn't quite come off. Lamine Yamal might pick up the pieces here. Barcelona have the ball just on the right-hand side of the penalty area. Is that going to swirl out of play for a corner kick for Barcelona on the right-hand side? Yes, it is. Hansi Flick is looking rather frustrated and concerned. And Hansi Flick didn't give the ball back to Rossier, and he wasn't happy with that. And well, Barcelona just trying to get over the line here, aren't they? Just trying to get over the line, Barcelona, into the final 5 minutes here. They've got a corner kick, and well, the Leganés supporters are making the point that Barcelona are taking an age over the set piece, and they've probably got a point as well. Referee just urging one or two to hurry up and get on with it. And Barcelona do have a corner kick which Rafinha is going to take. So Rafinha with the set piece, and Rafinha will swing the ball into the penalty area, and it is Barcelona who will ping it forward once again. Pedri is brought down, and there's going to be a yellow card here. And hasn't been a particularly dirty game, I've got to say, but Dani Rabah's going to go into the notebook here. I think just it's a careless one that for Dani Rabah, because he's now suspended for the game away at Mallorca. So pretty unnecessary that for Dani Rabah. He's one of Leganés' most important players, and in this relegation run-in towards the end of the season, they've got to be a little bit more careful, don't they? Well, that is going to be a free kick. That's going to be a yellow card now as Leganés win a free kick, and Frankie de Jong goes into the notebook, and suddenly the game's just got a little bit of needle, which we haven't seen so far. Lost possession and then fouled Neu. And it is going to be a free kick then for Leganés. Second yellow card for Barcelona. So Leganés have a free kick. They need a goal. 87 minutes on the clock. Floated into the penalty area. Barcelona partially clear. And Barcelona now are looking to counter, and they might do just that. Lamine Yamal was the option on the right-hand side. Is it going to come to Lamine Yamal now? No, it's not, because Leganés have bodies back there. And they have the ball once again, Leganés, on the halfway line. Barcelona, though, biting into the challenges. Both sets of players are living right on the edge now, and one or two are suggesting there should have been a yellow card for that foul on Frankie de Jong. Not so, says the referee. Neu's outstretched right leg was the culprit. 88 minutes on the clock. Leganés 0, Barcelona 1. This is a big, big game at both ends of the La Liga table. And if you're just joining us, well, you've missed a very entertaining game, because it's been a game where you've just sensed and felt the jeopardy throughout every single minute of the contest, because Barcelona know they're on the brink of going 7 clear, and 7 clear when Barcelona have to go away to relegation-threatened Alaves tomorrow. I think if Real Madrid drop points tomorrow, Barcelona will be very, very confident of winning the La Liga title. Frankie de Jong's in conversation with the referee. Rather sarcastically gives a thumbs up. He'd be wise to walk away from this situation, Frankie de Jong. Pretty hard for the referee to make head or tail of some of this, and Munir and Frankie de Jong are continuing their little skirmish. And Barcelona have the ball now on the left-hand side. Gerard Martin has it, 35 yards from goal. Gerard Martin tried to feed it inside. And now forward come Barcelona once more. And they're trying to just see this game out now at Barcelona. They have the ball on the left-hand side. Barcelona with Frankie de Jong. Frankie de Jong goes to his left-hand side and finds Gerard Martin. Barcelona, great game management. And this is what Hansi Flick sides do. Just keep the ball very, very intelligently. And really, I think for the last 10 or 15 minutes, what's impressive about this Barcelona side, I think, is that, well, they can play beautiful free-flowing football. They've got individual talent in the likes of Rafinha and Lamine Yamal, Lewandowski, real match winners. But they've also got a grit, which is not talked about too much, this Barcelona side, but there's a determination, and there is a bit of a nastiness at times when needed about this Barcelona team to get the job done. We've hit the 90-minute mark. It is Leganés 0, Barcelona 1, and Barcelona seeking a second goal, which really would finish it, but Leganés smashed the ball into the stands, and so it's just going to be a throw into Barcelona on the right-hand side. Pedri couldn't quite latch on to the loose ball, and it is Leganés 0, Barcelona 1. Barcelona going 7 points clear. Leganés in trouble, no doubt about that, in the La Liga relegation battle. Possibly the only real silver lining for Leganés. There's two. One is that their fixtures on paper, comparatively, look like there's plenty of points to be won in those final 7 games they've got of the season. However, we're not done just yet, because Rosier might get there first. Can't actually do so, Rosier. And Barcelona knock it out of play for a throw-in. Rosier will take the throw-in for Leganés. Played 30 seconds of the allocated 4 minutes. Neu gathers. Neu goes to his right-hand side, and Barcelona have got some defending to do now as Neu feeds the ball forward for Gonzalez, and Lamine Yamal on halfway trying to pick up the pieces. Leganés need something special now, and I think if Leganés do go on and lose this game, as looks likely at this stage, they're going to look towards those 2 big chances. First for Altimira, who did have a wonderful chance, but now there's an opportunity for Leganés at the other end. It's a really good challenge initially, and Dani Rabah tried to collect the loose ball, couldn't quite do so. But I think Leganés will look. It was Munir, actually, who the ball was hoisted forward towards Munir, just couldn't get the ball out of his feet quick enough to take the strike on. And Leganés are going to look at the 2 chances. Altimira they had in the first half, and then the opportunity for Dani Rabah in the second that they just couldn't take. So it is hoisted towards the halfway line. Rosier is there for Leganés, and Barcelona looking to bring the ball away. Can't quite do so. Leganés are in possession. They have a throw in as well, Leganés, on the right-hand side. And it is Leganés 0, Barcelona 1. And Leganés have the ball now, and they're feeding it up towards the halfway line. Hoisted away by Barcelona. Played 2 minutes of the allocated 4. Leganés need a miracle at this point, really. And those chances they had, Leganés, those chances they had. And against Barcelona, you're not going to get many chances, but one big one in the first half, one big one in the second half, couldn't take them. And it is very, very much advantage Barcelona in the title race. And all eyes now will go towards Alaves, Real Madrid tomorrow on Sunday. And I really do think that that is a must-win for Real Madrid in the title race. And here's Lamine Yamal to finish it down for Barcelona. Lamine Yamal goes to his left-hand side. And Pedri hurdles the challenge. It's Pedri inside the penalty area. Pedri for Barcelona. Still Pedri. And still. And it's a corner kick for Barcelona on their right-hand side. Flag was up anyway for offside, I think. So Leganés are going to have one more chance to smash the ball forwards. And well, we're trading in seconds now. Leganés and Dimitrov will just smash the ball towards the edge of the penalty area. Barcelona are seconds away from a big result, a result that would take them 7 points clear at the top of the La Liga table. Leganés 0, Barcelona 1. Rafinha is down, and he's kind of getting back to his feet rather gingerly. Hansi Flick looks a bag of nerves on the touchline. But I think now the job is done, because we played the allocated 4 and Barcelona are in possession, and the referee just had a little glance at the watch. Wojciech Szczesny smashes it away. Full-time whistle goes. Barcelona have won. They're 7 points clear at the top of the La Liga table, and Hansi Flick embraces those around him, and he knows this is a massive, massive result. Now Real Madrid go to Alaves tomorrow, and surely Real Madrid and Carlo Ancelotti's men will have to win to stay in the La Liga title race. A Jorge Sainz own goal separating the two sides, and Hansi Flick's men, Barcelona, go 7 points clear at the top of the La Liga table. For Leganés, I mean, they're right in the heart of a La Liga relegation dogfight. There's still got opportunities, Leganés, in the games and weeks to come, and they wouldn't have expected too much on the game today. But Leganés 0, Barcelona 1, full-time result.